I am hearing his people tell me, Mudosa amejipanga. Atajipanga.
Yeah.
Atajipanga na nani?
Let me
Atajipanga na nini?
Because
atajipanga namna hao. Atajipanga vipi? Atanajipanga. Tutampanga. This time round. Tutampanga, tutampangua, na tutamwangusha. And I want to tell my brother Francis Atwoli, by 10 a.m. Sugo Express, I can tell you, Jed, that this time round, we shall sing for him, Kasongo, Mobali Nagai, Kasongo, Bolandi. I will throw a curse. I will throw a curse.
Let me run.
I will curse them.
Hello there and welcome to Philip Kizia Unscripted. My name is Jedel Kabir. It is such a joy to have you joining us once again for this political conversation, a conversation which we say we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy decisions and informed political moves. Kenyans are now gearing up for the 2027 polls so early. Kenyans are saying, look, we are looking for the person to replace one William Ruto, the president of this republic. But some say it is difficult to remove Ruto from power. He will not be a one-term president. Actually, they believe he is the master of politics. That is my conversation today with Philip Kizia. Philip Kizia is a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi town clerk. He has been a CEO at KICC, and now he says the truth as he sees it. Kizia, great to see you. How are you doing today?
Well, Jed, I am so saddened.
Oh.
Very saddened. I am sad. But at the same time, I'm extremely angry. I don't know whether other Kenyans have the anger that some of us have. But anyway, the beauty is we know how to manage anger. So we cannot cause damage, even when we are feeling pain. Because we are feeling pain as Kenyans. And the president admitted in his own state of address that Kenyans are going through hardship and anger. It is one thing going through hardship, but it is another thing for a regime, a rogue regime, muting violence and pain on its citizens. But, you know, I've been accused by those who are currently in power because power has indeed gone through their heads. In fact, it is down right into their stomachs and it has entered their pockets. So these people have been completely corrupted with power. But today, because they accuse me of having nothing positive to say about their government, let me prove them wrong, Jed.
Hi, my name is Eileen Akal, and I'm the head of training at Center for Innovative Technology Limited, SciTech. If you finish your Form 4 and you would like to enter into an engineering field, architectural field, or any related field, please come to SciTech. We will train you how to be industry ready. We will also train you how to make engineering drawings. We will train you how to draw using the software.
I did my degree in China for 4 years. After I finish my degree, I come back to my country, Kenya. But the knowledge I find in SciTech, it's much better than the 4 years I spent in China.
We can empower a lot of young people in Kenya to gain gainful employment. And I want to speak to parents out there. If you have a child who's just done fourth form, between the time they do their exams and the time they enter tertiary education, there are so many months there they waste. Bring them here. In those short months, they will gain skills that they can use to advance their careers, to start their own even private companies. They can find work online, and when they go to university, they'll be so way ahead of their peers.
Welcome to SciTech.
That you see, being a student of management, I give praise where it is due. For the first time in more than 2 decades, I think, Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa, under one Alan Kilavuka, has posted profits. Is that something not to celebrate about? It actually confirms that when people are given a chance, when you have the right people in the right places, that a company can indeed do well. In terms of customer delivery, in terms of customer service, in terms of profitability. The other one that shocked everybody is the state corporation that we had actually changed even their name from Kenya Power and Lighting to Kenya Power and Darkness. Because most of the times we're in darkness. So they're not lighting the country. They're actually living us in darkness. So while they still have that name, because they have not erased it, we must acknowledge that for the first time, the MD, the current MD, has posted profits. So that indeed can tell you that Kenyans have capacity. They have capacity to do well if given a chance. If there's less interference in management of state corporations, in management of companies where government has an interest, like Kenya Airways.
Could that have been brought by high cost of electricity in Kenya? Because
high cost has always been there. Electricity in Kenya has never been cheap. It has never been cheap. But you see, business is about managing your expenses, yeah? Because if you make money, but it is all expended in expenses, then of course you'll record a profit. So let us give them credit where it is due.
Okay.
They have, for the first time, posted profits. So to the managing director of Kenya Airways, Alan, and to the managing director of Kenya Power and Lighting, congratulations.
Okay.
The other person that I must acknowledge is one Badi. Badi sometimes goes up as a performer and he speaks truthfully. Sometimes he gets lost. Like on this Adani thing, he got lost. Completely got lost. And we donated him as an expert. And we want him to do a good job. And we are going to support him to do a good job. But he must remain truthful. Badi said something, and I hope he has also repeated the same thing to His Excellency the President. Badi said just the other day, and I must thank him for being truthful, that the Kenyans, there's diminishing economic power. Their power to purchase has diminished, which basically means that there's no money in the pockets.
Yeah.
You remember last week, we told the president to stop talking about macroeconomics when people have no money in the pockets, when people have no food. Badi has now made it plainly clear that there's a liquidity problem in government, that government is unable to address the issue of pending bills. The county governments alone are running pending bills almost now $1 trillion shillings. Leave alone central government, some other $1 trillion shillings in pending bills. Okay? And when Kenyans are doing business with government and the government is not paying them, you'll collapse them. Not only are you going to collapse them, because they also not have money to spend, the companies will go down, people will be affected on the chain. So we must also thank Badi for admitting, because he's a person in charge of the economy, for admitting that indeed the purchasing power of Kenyans has completely diminished. And therefore, the state of address by the president last week does not make sense. You now see, didn't I tell you that it doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
That people have no money in their pockets, people are angry and hungry? Badi has said it in very plain terms. So we must also acknowledge that one, and that he's also admitted that the tax regime is unreasonable, is painful, is punitive, and it cannot work. So I must also thank him for saying that there is need for the government to put in measures to pay pending bills.
All right.
He has also admitted that there is need to review the taxation regime. So that is on the good news I had today. So that you don't say that I have bad news all the time, Jay. Come on.
I was actually telling you that before we started.
Now let's look at the highlights.
Before we talk about the master of politics, the highlights.
The highlights, Jed.
And your reflections this week.
I'm telling you, Jed, that is what made me sad.
Oh.
Jed, there is a Kenyan by the name of Benson Detta. Benson Detta is the managing director of Savannah Clinker. Savannah Clinker for a long time has been producing cement. Of course, they ran into some headwinds, but they were coming back very strongly. Benson Detta and his shareholders, he's a Kenyan, he was able to get funding from the US, a bank loan, through himself and other partners, to purchase 60% of Bamburi cement. Bamburi, that 60% belongs to the French, Lafarge. Okay? Lafarge is not Kenya's French. So they put their shares in the market. Two companies qualified. Savannah Clinker, who offered 27 billion for the 60% shares at 76.5 per share. Then we have some other company from our neighboring country, Tanzania, and we have no problems with Tanzanians, we have no problems with Indians, we have no problems. But when an Indian from Tanzania comes and offers 23 billion, 23 billion, that's a difference of over 4 billion shillings, at a share price of 65 shillings. Why would any person sell their shares at less when there's somebody in the market offering more? And I've tried to follow this story. I've even discovered that just on Thursday or Wednesday, this Tanzanian company had the last chance to counter the offer that had been made by Savannah to make it better. The company failed. They could not match the offer. I've also come to learn that even prior to that, that the banks that were paying, this money is coming from the US, so we must have a local bank that is paying. I've just come to discover that there was pressure from above, immense pressure from above, to get that bank to withdraw from the deal. So what were they trying to do? It was to collapse that deal, to collapse it. Because if you don't have a paying bank, the deal collapses.
Yes.
Thank God there's another Kenyan bank which had confidence in another Kenyan. And they said, well, no, what? Number one is a Kenyan. Number two, we've looked at the due diligence. This is not another Adani. Looked at due diligence. This is legit. Okay? The funds are coming from another reputable bank. The funds are available for payment within 30 days. The other Indian is offering to pay within 12 months. They are offering less, and then they're asking for time to pay the 23 billion, which means any intelligent person will know that the intention was to get the asset and then mortgage the asset and then pay. So we know these tricks. We've been around for a long time. Then the other thing, and we must, for the time being, I'll not mention the bank, because the shareholders, of course, will come out and, but it's in the public domain. I mean, this is in the public domain. NCBA, they're the ones who stepped in and said, you know what, Kenyan bank, legit business, we must support a Kenyan bank. So again, we must acknowledge that NCBDA did the right thing, okay, after doing due diligence. The last stroke, and you can see when people are out to destroy their own, when a government is out to eat their own. Let us assume that Benson Detta, and I'm not here to talk on his behalf, he has not briefed me, but he's a Kenyan. Benson Detta could have had issues with his shareholders in Savannah. He could have had issues. Those are commercial transactions. Those are governance issues in a private company. Where does government come in? Where does government come in? DCI arrested this man, a Kenyan, who had instructed them to arrest Benson. Under whose instruction were they? If shareholders having issues,
yes,
where does the government come in?
Let them solve them.
Let them solve. If there's a commercial a problem, challenge, there are commercial courts. Let them go to court. Why arrest a Kenyan and refuse him bail? Oh. You lock him up. You lock up the poor person overnight. Why? Under whose instruction were they working? Those are questions that somebody must answer. Okay? This is not a light matter. It's not a light matter, my friend. The other thing that I want to ask, okay, because we're all Kenyans, we come from somewhere. You come from Moranga, I come from Western Kenya. And I'm not saying this because Benson comes from Western Kenya. But are they trying to suggest, yet, that lawyers have been condemned to be cooks and watchmen? When a lawyer makes it big, we saw Mwale has made it big, people try to frustrate him in Kakamega. Now Benson making it big, people are trying to frustrate him. Does it mean that they want to condemn the lawyers to cooks and watchmen? That question will have to be answered by somebody at the right time. Because this is a community, we belong to Kenyans, we must be treated equally. In any case, do you think a bank will get involved in a deal of 27 billion without doing due diligence? No. They are not their Danis. These guys are not, you say you have done due diligence when you have not done some. Anyway, the last one, Jed. And as I told you, I'm angry.
Yeah.
The last one. I don't know if it's a highlight or a reflection, but it's both.
Yeah.
You know, I saw Rigathi yesterday and I looked at that video several times. This is an immediate former deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Even if you hate him, even if you don't like him, treat him as a human being. Treat him as a Kenyan. Treat him as somebody who has served, even if you served only for 2 years in an office. Power is transient. Today you are there, tomorrow you will not be there. You will be in the streets like all of us. And would you want us to give you the same treatment? There are goons hired who landed on a former deputy president. What are we telling the world? What are we telling the world, Jed? That we are uncouth, that we are crude, that we are archaic, that we are uncivilized? What are we telling the world? That the institutions here don't work? That we mute violence against other Kenyans? We have intelligence system, this same DCI that is arresting business people, this same DCI. And NIS, they normally have intelligence before anything happens. They monitor everybody. Why didn't they foresee this particular incident? Where thousands of goons were hired and landed in a function, in a funeral function, a solemn moment. You bring in goons. You know, I had told you, Jed, and you better, you know, Jed, you better listen to me. There are people who are going to hell. But before they go to hell, to hell, Jed, let me tell you this. We have sunk. This is the lowest we've sunk. The country is going towards the wrong direction. Okay? I am a Tiriki. And I can tell you, Jed, as a Tiriki and as Tirikis, we are capable of doing things. We are capable, Jed. Khulabalama. Those guys are going, they are going very soon. Tirikis were serious people. So I am telling you, this level of impunity, Jed, must stop.
What does khulama? What does it mean?
I will throw a curse. I will throw a curse.
Let me run.
I will curse them. I'm cursing these people.
Oh my.
They will, Jed, Dabalama.
You listen to government bloggers, they're saying Gachagua stage managed what we saw.
Can you be satisfied to put your life in danger? Come on, Jed, be even a bit more intelligent. Don't bother those useless fellows. Don't bother. Those are cantankerous fellows. Useless characters.
Let's get into
cantankerous.
Our conversation for today.
And let me tell you, Jed,
Eh,
somebody should not imagine that they have a monopoly to violence. Some of us are Tirikis and we went like this. You know, we stood like this before people. In a cold day. Philip Kisia, almost, I think, 50-something years ago, I stood like this on a cold morning. And we can stand. But in the meantime...
Don't push it towards me. Our conversation for today is all about the master of politics, one William Ruto. Some believe he's unbeatable. Some say this talks about, look, he's a one-term president, will go nowhere. Secretary General of Kotu, Francis Atwoli, appearing on TV, said one, Ruto is on the right political trajectory, and two, he defeated them together with their system, together with the president at that time. Who can beat him now that he has all the instruments of power with him? That is my conversation today with Philip Kisia. You listened to Atwoli, and he was saying he beat this system. He beat president. He's a man who takes calculations and looks at every corner and how politics is going, and he decided to support Raila. But from nowhere, Ruto came and beat them. Now he's saying his political trajectory is good. He has made very good alliances, and he's saying too, we give him time. He will show Kenyans what he can do. Do you believe that Ruto is unbeatable?
Jed, look for that video, Atwoli's video, and with a lot of respect, because Atwoli is my senior brother, and I have a lot of regards for Atwoli, brother Francis, a lot of regards for him, for all the achievements he has been able to get. Look for that video.
I can tell you here now, with the direction President William Samoei has taken, that direction he's now, that trajectory that he's now taking, he will be the president at 10 a.m. 2027. I'm telling you.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Come on.
I'm telling you. But where people are stable, people have food, they will first of all peruse, carry out a research on you. What do you have? How many children do you have? How is your house like? What car are you driving? How many people are you helping? How many of them are in secondary schools? And what do you have for them also? You are candidates. If you say I will depend on people to bring, people will say you are a joker. One.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are a joker. You are a joker on the stage.
That is Kotu Sekjen. Atwoli says he's unbeatable.
Jed, let me sip. Let me sip. Jed, I had to sip something. Because I don't want to say anything nasty about somebody I respect. Because I have a profound respect for Francis. But, you know, there is something we call the operating environment. The operating environment that time is not necessarily or will be the same in 2027. But let's just put this thing into context, Jed. The first thing is that Ruto, in 2022, or before then, for 5 years he was campaigning. He did not work. His work was to campaign for 5 years.
Yeah.
And in the 5 years of campaigning, he was able to get people. So he had people. Raila was confused, and he was left with the system and deep state. Okay? So Ruto went to the people, not everybody.
Yeah.
We went to just slightly over half of the people. Forget about what happened, we don't know what happened in between, but at least he went with half of the votes. And in particular, he took over Central Province, almost everything. Then, of course, his backyard, he took everything. Those are two big communities that he went with. The Central community propelled him to the office. That's a fact, Jed. It's a fact. Is it true today? See, Murima has taken off. Murima is gone. So where are the votes if Murima has gone? Murima has taken off completely. You can see. And that is why they're hell-bent on creating chaos in that region. The other thing that so you see, so now that he has a system and the deep state and the people are gone, he's naked. The other thing is that For 4-5 years, he sold hope. Mama Mboga, Boda.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Hustlers.
Hasora. Okay? We are one of them. You come in government. Mama Mbogas will have one cabinet slot. Boda, mutakuwa nayo. And so on and so forth. Okay? So he sold hope. But in 2 years, Jed, people have come to know who the real person, the real William Ruto. For the last 2 years, he has just sold lies. He has sold lies and hopelessness for 2 years. And that is why even he has admitted that Kenyans are in pain. Didn't you hear him saying that Kenyans are facing hardship and pain? Yeah. It is no longer about milk and honey. So we are in deep shit. And he has admitted as the head of state. And we must thank him for being truthful for once. We must accept. And we must thank this William. Because all the time it is lies. But this time he admitted this. He spoke truthfully in his own speech. And, or maybe some wrote for him and he didn't read. He was reading when. But anyway, the other thing, he has been accused of many things even before he took over office. But now that he's in charge, his record in 2 years is so poor. Is poorer than Moi's record. Extremely poor. In 2 years only. You have seen extrajudicial killings. You saw what happened in 2022. You saw what happened in 2023. You saw what happened in 2024. You saw what happened during Maandamano. You saw how he muted violence, or his state machinery muted violence on Gen Z. Just the other day, June. You saw it, Jed. Because you're one of them. Don't pretend you didn't see. Don't pretend you didn't fail, because you did. The state of the economy is so poor, and that's why even Badi has admitted we have a problem here. And there's need for us to do something to fix the economy so that people can have some money in their pockets. Okay? The other thing is corruption. He has never been known to fight corruption.
Yeah.
But now corruption is in mega deals. They are Danis. Everything they touch is corruption. Then we thought that because he came in through the hustler narrative, and no, hustler does not have a tribe. Hustler is a hustler. The hustler in Central is the same hustler that we have in Western Province. Now, he gets into office, yeah? He becomes a tribalist number one. You just need to look at the appointments. Don't waste time, because, is it on merit? It is either you come from a certain region to qualify for a job, or you must have a badge of honor. Do you know the badge of honor? Or the badge of dishonor?
Yeah. Corruption.
For you to qualify, you must have a badge of dishonor. Corruption. Has he fought corruption? No. This thing is being done in billions of shillings. They have admitted. Then look at it this way. People saw him as a messiah. People saw him as a savior. That is what. But now, the religious groups that propelled him to the office call him bad names. I'm scared of repeating. But because they have called him a demon, it is not me. They are saying Madimon. Am I the one who say Madimon? The religious leaders who were praying for him, who anointed him, who actually campaigned for him, they have said, no, we didn't know that this is the guy we're dealing with. Okay? Then we have the issue of the Gen Zs, Jed. Okay? And yesterday I took an Uber. And I was talking, because I talked to Mwananchi. I'm on the ground. And they say, Magai. This one, I will never vote for this man, even if I'm dead. That's what the taxi man told me. He's called Alfred. He told me that even if I am dead and buried and you put concrete, I will not vote for that man. Never again. Because we've come to know who the person is. Okay? Now, most of the votes are with the teachers, Jed. teachers in this country, if you want to get anything, apart from the religious groups and leadership, teachers, walimu. The man has mistreated the teachers. They have been on strike. Teachers have been on strike. Lecturers are on strike. They don't want to attend to them. And finally, the people who treat us, the people who treat him, the doctors. And we must have started by sending condolences to the family who we lost another intern. Why? Because, you know, they are working under extremely difficult circumstances. These are our young children. To qualify for Jed, to qualify to become a doctor is 6-7 years at the university. And then we mistreat our people, we mistreat our doctors, we mistreat our interns, we don't pay them. But, Jed, we are not paying our professionals, but we have money to spend in Haiti, where we have no business. We don't have that business. What business takes us to Haiti? What business takes us to Haiti, Jed? What are we doing in Haiti? Even Trump has said, nonsense. Putin has said, BS. China have said, forget it. Because saying what nonsense is. We are not going to put taxpayers' money in where we're not seeing anything. There's no value. You can see the priorities being getting them upside down. So I can tell you, Jed, all these people are in pain, and I'm hearing his people tell me, Mudosa amejipanga. Atajipanga.
Yeah.
Atajipanga na nani?
Let me
Atajipanga
ask
na
you,
nini?
because
Atajipanga namna how? Atajipanga vipi?
and this is
Ata
what,
anajipanga, tutampanga.
This
time round, tutampanga, tutampangua, na tutamwangusha. And I want to tell my brother Francis Atwoli, by 10 a.m., Sugoi Express.
he says 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
For him,
10 a.m.
Ruto machine.
Sugoi Express. 10 a.m. in the morning. The man will be in Sugoi.
You see, someone like Prof. Manyora, just as you're making your argument, he speaks of all these issues, and he also says the politics of it all, Ruto is on the top of it. And he also says, unless this opposition unites, you know, so many people are coming out, different names are coming out, unless they unite to fight Ruto, they cannot beat him. For you, do you think this is the case? Opposition should unite. Talk about Omtata, talk about Kalonzo, talk about Matiang'i on this other side.
You know, let me tell you, Jed. You know, Prof, don't put him in a very difficult spot. Prof is my elder, my senior, my brother. But on this one, I must tell him that yes, Ruto is a master of political deceit. Ruto is a master of lies, political lies. Because people have come to know him. I don't know why Prof is still in slumber. People thought that he's he knows how to play chess, political master. Okay? But now, with the time, people have discovered that he's not what we thought he was. The only way Ruto can survive, but we know we are watching him. I am telling you, just the same way my political master, my boss, Raila had the system, a deep state. Now we, on this other side, we are the people. The only way you can see he's trying to do, I suspect when he's saying, nimejipanga, you can see IBC, the way people are playing around the IBC. You know, IBC is supposed to have been there. We have no IBC. So I suspect they want to do things in a rush. So they do some gerrymandering, okay, to their advantage. I suspect they want to do voter suppression, okay, because most of the youth, Gen Z, don't have any ID cards, and that's why they're increasing the cost of ID from 50 shillings to 200. We have a case. You have a case where this is only a government that is doing business. They should actually, if they want to compete for doing business, they should leave government. Government does not do business with its own people. When you start charging IDs, people have no the youth have no work. You want to charge them 200. And even if they have 200, getting that ID is a problem. So the strategy could be, when somebody is saying, nimejipanga, have you pangered through IBC for making sure that we have dysfunctional IBC, that it does not even exist? Does it mean that now by increasing the fees for ID from 50 bob to 200 bob, is that why you are saying umejipanga? Does it mean that, that you frustrate the youth from getting IDs? It takes even a year to get an ID. Is that unasema umejipanga? We have seen this violence that was muted against Rigathi. It is too early to bring violence. Is that kujipanga? So I can tell you, I'm sure you've heard of Sungura ni mjanja. Sindio?
Yeah.
But sisi tutakuwa wajanja zaidi. I can tell you, Jed, that this time round, we shall sing for him, Kasongo, Mobali Nagai, Kasongo, Bolandi, Kasongo, as we escort him, as we escort him to Sugoi, and we'll be civil. We'll be civil. We'll have a chopper, the way it was done in Mozambique. We'll have a chopper, neatly, and you say, Mzee, oh no, to Mzee, Excellency. We'll be civil. We're civil people. Please, get in. Enjoy whatever we shall make sure that we take care of you. And we want to show you how a government should be run. Mama Rachel, please. Any other person? You have a big family. We'll even give him 3 choppers. But he must be ready. By 10 a.m., we are providing choppers. And do you know what, Jed? Do you know you are sitting next to the Minister for Interior?
You'll be done.
I'm done supervising. Supervising. And I'll make sure the man is treated with dignity. Because I can't afford to mistreat a former head of state.
But you're saying it's one term.
One term. I'm done telling my brother Francis, he should understand better than me. But if he meets William, when they're taking tea, me and you take other things. When they're taking tea, they must prepare how to exit. But I can tell you, Jed, as the Minister for Interior, I'll make it smooth. I'll make it sweet. I will not mistreat him. I will not mistreat William.
But he will go.
But he must go. I'm the one who supervise, put him in the chopper, and even give him 2 more because a big family at a taxpayer's expense.
We're talking about the opposition, but also something important is the alliances that come. You've had Okiya Omtatah has come up with a team that is going to look at his potential and possibility of him becoming the president. And I'm thinking, Atwoli dismissed him very bad in that interview. And he said, look, you're a joker if you don't have money, you're a joker if you don't have friends. We'll talk about resources, but first, alliances, Kesia. How important is it for someone to come up and say, I'm going to be a president, but not look for other people?
Jed, and I'm happy you've broken it into 2. First of all, we look at the issue of candidates and alliances. There's absolutely no problem with people forming alliances, particularly when you know that going alone, you are likely to be defeated. Because election is about winning, it's not about losing. Okay? But we're too early. And I would encourage even you, if you are 35 and you have a degree and above, not fake degrees, because most of the people in Ruto's government, some of them, Rigathi told us they are fake degrees. Why can't you announce your intention to run? Weigh yourself. Because if you look at the preamble of our constitution, it suggests, and it's very clear by the way, it says that the first thing we must have unity as a family, then as an individual. It recognizes that one, and then from there we go to the community. The communities must coalesce together. Okay? From there, then you'll be able to achieve national unity. So you must start from down, coming up. I think that's the only place that bottom up applies. Bottom up. Because you can't talk about unity when you have a disunited family. So there's nothing wrong with people declaring the intention, It is. I mean, I'm very encouraged to see that people believe in themselves and let them sell their agenda. But as we move close to the 2027 general elections, the chips will start falling.
People will know.
People will know that you put yourself on the scale, and you'll know that for you to become a formidable candidate, you need a number of resources. And you look at resources, not just money, okay? But I think for the time being, right now, all those candidates who are saying they want to become, but they do know I'm the most qualified. Let me say I'm one of the most qualified, but I've not made an announcement. What the focus right now is to make sure that we have an incredible IEBC. That should be our focus, not who becomes president. We must reignite the NARC moment. We must bring it back. Because we want to send this man home in a beautiful way. So the NARC moment of 2002 must come back. Okay? So we must focus on making sure, because see, Article 89, subsection 2, IEBC should have been, leave alone being in place, IEBC should have reviewed the boundaries and the names of the wards and constituencies. That has not been done. Okay? So we have other priorities that we must be looking at. We must now also, because once we have this IEBC, we must now start voter registration, which is not going on. We must have voter education. Voter education. Why is it important to vote? Don't vote for your tribe. Don't vote for, if that is the intention, you rather even vote for a dog. So we must now explain to people clearly why people must participate in a general election and why they must be careful in making choices, because choices certainly have consequences. So there are so many other priorities, Jed, that we need to be looking at. I'm not saying making a pronouncement is wrong, that's okay, but let us focus on the first things that matter. An IEBC that we don't have, the cleaning of the voter register, making sure that the process is free, fair, credible, and verifiable.
On this context,
Okay.
do you think alliances, regional kingpins do matter? When you listen to it, it's more like if you go to Western, get the bigwigs there, go here, get the bigwigs there.
You see, yes and no. In some areas, it depends on so many other factors. You cannot dismiss the kingpins. Okay? But now, and I keep on saying, there's a new emerging serious vote bloc that does not recognize the kingpins.
Yeah.
The millennials and the Gen Zs. They don't recognize. They are looking at what you have above your neck. Whether you are corrupt, whether you have an agenda, whether you have a vision, a shared vision, whether you have a track record, whether you can do the job. That is a serious vote block. That you may not come and say, Aterere or Mbolashna. They don't give a hoot. They will be looking at you and say, but this guy is not making sense. The Kina Ethans and the Kina Ivana. Say, but this, I didn't want to use that name because sometimes they, but this character, is an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a demagogue. It's an idiot. He has nothing above his neck. Nothing in between the 2 ears.
Yeah.
There's zero. There's something else that I don't want to mention on this program because my kids also watch it. So, Jed, let us encourage people to gain interest, show interest, but ultimately, as a people of this country, anybody who loves this country must know and must decide which is the right place to be in history and which is the wrong place to be in history. I can tell you for free, we all know who will never be the president in 2027. But we are yet to know who will be president.
That's a good one. But you are a joker. This is what Atuli said when it comes to resources and finances. If you're a candidate out there, people will look at the cars you drive, look at where you stay, look at your home, look at how you dress. You need to look like you've got some money. Do you believe this is the case for someone like Morara, who's out there on social media asking Kenyans to support his campaign, for Okia Mtata, who Atuli was speaking about? Should this be the case?
I look at two things, Jed. And we've said this several times, that when you look at the voters mix, over 60% of the voter mix is Gen Z, potentially.
Yeah.
And they may question those riches that they're already questioning. They were questioning people, that belt of yours. We know you're living in this estate. We know you used to drive from Machakos to Nairobi. Now you are in Keren. So you are dealing with people who are so enlightened, okay, that those issues that we have been putting a focus on may diminish, may not be as important, okay? Because we have placed so much value, and that is where we have gone wrong. We have placed so much value on one resource. And today I'm going to talk about resources because you are down was asked.
Yeah.
We have placed so much importance on a resource called money. Those of you as who have done management understand resources go beyond money. And I'll give you one example. Number one, manpower, person is a resource. And that's the greatest resource you need because that's the vote. Does that vote, that man represents both a man and woman. Does that resource need money to go and vote? They just need information. They need to be told, they need to be educated. Voter education. And they go and cast their vote. Do voters in America, are they persuaded by money? Are they given 200 shillings? I saw my friend Ojenda saying he's sharing what he has. Something small, he's sharing 200. 200 cannot even buy a packet of unga. Okay? Have you seen voters in even India or in UK lining up to receive 200 shillings? Have you seen?
No.
Because they're educated. So that's one key resource that must be put to proper use. They must be told, when people come with 200 shillings, in fact, ask for 2,000. Gula kabisa. Take it. Because most probably, it is stolen cash. Most probably. Okay?
Yeah.
So don't spare them. The other one, as a resource we have, machineries that you can deploy. They may need some money, yes, but you don't have to have sophisticated machinery to deploy. You can have a new vehicle, okay? Yeah? Maybe you reach those places faster than I am, than I can. But if I have a vehicle that can take me from point A to B, as a machinery, as a resource, you young people, you have proved beyond any reasonable doubt that you are so ahead in terms of management information systems, use of technology. Use of technology, just a phone call, a cheap phone, 5,000 bob, okay? You are able to communicate, disseminate information using that tool. Is that not a resource?
It is.
There is minutes, time, masa. You just need, so long as you are in good health, you need minutes to walk to a polling station. You can walk, because there are very many polling stations. Does that need money? If you are determined to bring change. And there are many, you young people, last week you talked about branding and marketing, okay? We just need your brains to come and develop a good marketing, branding, and public relations program under marketing. You young people, with our guidance, because I'm a fellow of management, Jed.
Yeah.
Using the skills that we have acquired in management, in organizing, proper organization of an electoral campaign. And we donate our skills, management skills. We donate our minutes, time. We volunteer our minutes, which is a resource. We volunteer our management skills, which is another resource. Those are resources that we can deploy in an election, and we defeat these people by 10 a.m.
Okay.
So let people not be scared by one resource called money. It's an important resource, but we don't have to match them, because we can never match them. These characters have stolen money, stolen public resources that they want to use. But we can apply the other resources that we have effectively, efficiently, and we'll send them home by 10 a.m. 10 asubuhi, not usiku. In the morning, they will be packing and going, because by 6 o'clock, by 6 o'clock, we'll make sure they have settled in Sugoi, and they'll be reading an acceptance speech.
Okay.
They'll be reading it.
Yeah.
While in Sugoi, from Sugoi.
You know, Willis Otieno, Deputy Party Leader for Safina, comes here. He's a lawyer. Comes here and he says Kenyans will look at the economy. Kenyans will look at the performance of this government, and they will vote based on that. Do you believe this will be the case? And do you think, because we've talked a little bit about macroeconomics and micro, eventually, Atwoli says, watu watakuja kuona matunda.
Wataona nini? He has done 2 years of pain. He has done 2 years where people have lost lives. And by the way, man is a resource. When a man is dead, are we going to recover those people who are dead? Let's start from there. Are we going to recover them? The people who have gone missing, are they going to be brought back? So I agree with Willis, my friend Willis, that yes, people look at the performance of the economy. I don't see this a turnaround. Musalia, my friend, had indicated that it will take them 3 years. So maybe they have another 1 year, but I doubt they may need another 50 years to, because they're just in a looting spree. So I don't see the economy improving, because judging by their own standards, 24 months ago or before, they had said they will make unga. They dropped the price to 70 shillings. Where are you buying unga at 70? It is still at
120, 130.
130, 140. Okay? They say they bring down petrol to 100 bob. I just bought petrol today at 180 something. When are they going to bring those commodities down? They say they bring down the cost of power. It has actually gone up. Has it gone up or down?
Yeah.
It has gone up. They said they will, subsidize production. Instead of giving us fertilizer, they are giving us fake things, pebbles and donkey manure. So when are we going to improve our food basket when they are stealing even what they are supposed to bring to us? So when is the economy going to grow? When it is just theft after theft. So I don't see them, and you see they're running out of time. When are they going to create jobs, Jed, for our youth? They have been in the office for 24 months. They kept on talking about housing, something that is very dear to me, something that my team and I put together, affordable housing. Okay? And we know how we should have done it. It has only generated 120,000 jobs, according to them. But because we are used to their lies, we can't even believe those numbers. Then they talk about now creating jobs, sending our people overseas. When you look at the jobs, they are not sending, there are no engineers, there are no IT people, there are no people in finance, there are no people, there are no doctors. They are sending people to be watchmen and, house helps in Middle East. Those are the jobs they're saying we're sending 20,000 people. Even those figures, we doubt them. So, you see, and Jed, in another 18 months, I can assure they'll be in panic mode. They'll be in panic mode. Because you can see the anger of the Kenyan people. People are so angry. People don't even, you see, now, when you do things the same way for too long, your attempt to correct yourself will take a long, long time. So to correct their mistakes that they have made in 2 years, they'll need 30 years. Are we going to give them 30?
Finally,
that's the question that you must
that's
ask
the
yourself.
question. Finally, you've talked a little bit about IEBC, probably in all the answers you're giving, is that Kenyans must be ready to ensure that IEBC is properly constituted and functioning well. How do we do that? Because we don't have an IEBC now, and there's also this conversation about live streaming not being necessary by IEBC. Do you think this is going to be a game changer in 2027 elections, whether it is properly constituted or not?
Of course, they are courting crisis. This is a disaster. They are courting a disaster. They are creating a crisis. And this disaster that they are creating and the confusion that they are trying to bring is going to eat them alive. They will be eaten. You know, they will be eaten the way fisi anapata mnyama hapo amekufa. They will be eaten that way. They are joking with this IEBC thing because they think that they have the capacity to manipulate. They think they have the capacity to bulldoze. They think they have everything. They think they have state power. I must remind my good friend, His Excellency William Ruto, powerful people have been brought down by the people. Very powerful people have been brought down just in the recent past. Bangladesh. You saw how that
transpired, yes.
How she was escorted by the military in a helicopter. And this one, what do we do? You saw the other fellow who was crying in West Africa, was saying, please make calls, please.
Yes.
You saw,
yes.
Crying like a baby. You saw.
Yes.
Did you see?
Yes.
You saw what Ibrahim Traore did, a young man. You saw what he did.
Yeah.
He get that shit out of here. Get that shit out. And he's doing a good job. Traore. You can have the military, you can have all the powers that you have, Jed. But when a people are determined, it doesn't matter how many people you shoot at. So they must make sure that we have free, fair, credible, and verifiable elections in 2027. Short of which, I am afraid we may not have a country. Because people are not going to allow them to steal any vote. You saw what happened. People are chased like Burukenges from Embu. You saw what happened in Moranga, where you come from. That's not, I don't come from Moranga, but you people, have some love for my president, man. Have some love, Jed. Show some love, man.
So you're saying,
at least give him another 2 years. Let's give him peace, man. Let's give him peace, Jed. For at least 2 years. Let's give him peace. He's our president. So long as doesn't do excesses and misbehave, let's give him some peace. You people in Moranga, boy, show him some love. Embu, show him some love. Show the president love.
Because you don't want to hear that.
You don't hear this man. You will walk away from my president, my friend. I felt it for him. I really felt bad. Have some manners, you people.
Give
from
me a
Moranga.
little bit of some actionable steps with this IEBC thing, with everything that people are talking about the president, and also what he should do to actually show Kenyans that he has them. Actually, it's just a few.
What do you mean? He knows what should be done. It's written in the Constitution. How to form IEBC, it is written. He doesn't have to do anything. Just follow the Constitution. What are you talking about here? What steps? What
Just
step?
follow.
It is written in the book, in our Biblia, that in our Quran.
Yeah.
That it is there. Let him go. It says what needs to be done. But you can see he has no interest. And I'm hoping that my party leader will tell him quietly, because we send our party leader. We have donated some of our members to go and help. Badi MC, is doing a good job. I'm yet to see some serious results from the others. But you can see Badi and Opio, these are things seems to have confused him a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're generally good people.
Yeah.
But they're confused. So Jed, the issue of IEBC, you cannot go off the script. It is well documented in the Constitution. And then we have an IEBC Act. Just go and do what is supposed to be done.
All right. Thanks for tuning into that conversation about President William Ruto. Will he win 2027 polls? Do you believe he's actually the master of Kenyan politics now? Leave a comment down below. But just before we wrap up, it's always a pleasure to have the final closing remarks from the one Philip Kisia.
Jed, You see, I said that I was in great pain, having seen what has happened this week. I hope you can repent because I'm a Tiriki. I'm going to finish these people. Yeah, they should be careful. But in ending, Jed, we have donated even our Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Odinga. I am praying that, and I agree with the President, that there's no problem. He assisted my Prime Minister once, and now he's expecting him to return a hand. But we are very clear as ODM. And this is the message that he must get very clearly. That we have donated our people, and we have even gradually released our party leader to assist him. But we want him to assist him in ending corruption, to stop overtaxation, to halt extrajudicial killings. Correct? Those are the things that we want our party leader to help, and to end tribalism. Those are the things that we want our party leader to do. The other thing that he must do, and we talked about it, Jed, this IEBC must be given priority. We must have IEBC within the next 100 days. We must have IEBC. We must have IEBC. Failure to which, Kenyans will be the IEBC. We must have IEBC because it is clearly spelled out in Article 89, subsection 2. That the boundaries must be reviewed after 8 years or maximum 12. We are beyond 12 years. There has been no boundary review. There has been no relooking at the names of the constituents. And so we are actually operating unconstitutional. And I don't know why, and I'm hoping that the Supreme Court should send this government home. Because say you're operating out of the Constitution. Send the president home. Send everybody home. Send everybody home. We know as Kenyans how we can sort ourselves. And nobody should tell us there's going to be a crisis. How's it going to be a crisis? There'll be no crisis. In fact, by delaying giving us what is constitutionally ours, is when they're courting for a disaster. And we are ready for that disaster. Finally, just look for that. Before I request you to play that video from Mozambique, because I'm dedicating that one to William. Christmas is around the corner. Our boys were sent to Haiti. The courts declared that unconstitutional. The people of Kenya rejected. The religious leaders rejected. Everybody rejected. But William Ruto and his government sent our boys to Haiti by force. Our boys are suffering. The Americans have sent no money. We now are being told we have sent 2 billion of our own money, and they're requesting to spend now 17 billion. The Americans have already said they are not refunding. They say that's nonsense. They're not refunding. And do these people have doodles in their head? Do they have doodles? Because how can you go and spend money on fellows who are, I don't know, thousands of kilometers away when our doctors are dying because there's no money? We're not paying them. They are killing themselves. Why do you want to spend our money on some Haitians? And they're human beings and we love them because they're Africans. But, common sense would drive you to deal with your own problem first before you deal with the neighbor's problem. So, as a Christmas gift to the people of the Republic of Kenya, I'm requesting my party leader, who I respect, to ask William Ruto to return our boys, because we should not be spending our money that we don't even have on useless missions like Haiti. It is not our mission. Finally, play that video that I want to dedicate to William. Play that video.
Well, Kisia, that's Mozambique. A lot of violence happening there. You can see the president actually being airlifted.
Yes. Frelimo, which has been in power for so many years, I think 49 or so years. Yeah. Okay? They have been in power. The people have said these elections are not credible. They are not credible. They are not credible. And I want Francis Atwoli to watch that particular video.
Yeah.
It is people who have forced him out of Maputo. They said, get out. Kwenda kabisa wewe. Change the type. Panda ndege. Doesn't that man does he have an army? Doesn't he have police?
Yes.
Doesn't he have rec? I don't know all those things. How come he has taken a chopper and he has taken off? People power. People power. Jed.
What a place to wrap up. People power. Thanks for tuning into this conversation. What do you think should happen in the next couple of days so that we gain trust in the president? And well, of course, whether you think he is the master of politics here in Kenya, whether he will win the 2027 polls, that's something I would like you to share with us on the comment section. Thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Have a great weekend.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.